In this video, I talk about 3 common financial mistakes you need to avoid. These mistakes sank the Titanic, and if you're not careful, they'll send your financial life to the bottom of the ocean too. Coming up. Hey, if we're just meeting for the first time, my name is Dr. Brad Klontz. Let's get right into it. Financial mistake number 1, overconfidence. The Titanic was thought to be unsinkable. Nothing is unsinkable. The belief that we're invulnerable is very dangerous. For the Titanic, it led to a bunch of oversights and negligence. For example, there had been a fire in the hull of the ship that had been slow burning for weeks before the launch. They thought the Titanic's unsinkable, they didn't worry about it, but it turns out it really weakened the steel in the same spot that hit the iceberg. They also only had enough lifeboats for 1 out of 3 passengers. Pretty cocky, right? Overconfidence sank the Titanic, and it can sink your financial ship too. We are all vulnerable to overconfidence in our financial lives, especially men. Studies have shown that overconfidence can lead to bad financial decisions and overtrading, which significantly lowers people's returns. It can also lead to underestimating your vulnerabilities and not taking enough action to protect yourself. For example, many people don't have adequate insurance and are not protecting themselves adequately. One area of being underinsured is disability insurance. Another very common pitfall, and one that a lot of my clients had no idea even existed, is umbrella insurance. If you own a home and you don't know what umbrella insurance is, stop this video right now and Google it. I really recommend that you consult with a financial advisor to determine where you might be vulnerable and steps you need to take to protect yourself. And remember, don't get too cocky. Financial mistake number 2, sailing blind. This is crazy, but did you know the crew of the Titanic didn't have a pair of binoculars? It's true. Well, the pair they had was actually locked in a cabinet, and the person who had the key had left the ship just before it launched. He forgot to hand the key over when he left. They didn't realize this mistake until they were at sea for 3 days. If they had a pair of binoculars, they might have been able to see that iceberg and change course before the collision. Given the stress that many people feel in their financial lives, it's really easy to not pay attention to what's going on. This is very common. For example, when was the last time you reviewed your spending habits? I mean, really look closely at where exactly your money's going every month. Do you know how much you spent eating out last month? How much did you spend on Amazon? It's really important for us to pay attention to where our money goes. It's real easy for our financial lives to sort of spin out of control when we're not paying attention, and before we know it, we may have built up a huge credit card bill. Paying attention to where our money goes can automatically shift some of our spending habits as we focus on what matters most to us. When it comes to your financial life, don't sail blind. Pay attention. One way to do this is to just put a time in your schedule, perhaps once a month, where you sit down and you look at where all your money went. Just this level of awareness can keep you headed in the right direction. Financial mistake number 3, trying to make up for lost time. The Titanic was going too fast when it hit that iceberg. Some people believe that they were attempting to break a speed record. Others think that they were behind schedule and trying to make up for lost time. The why doesn't matter, but they were going much too fast and they weren't able to stop the ship in time. A common mistake I see people make is taking on way too much risk in an attempt to make up for lost time. Perhaps you were late in starting to save for retirement, and so you're feeling anxious about having enough. Or maybe you've experienced some type of financial loss and you're desperate to make it up. In behavioral finance, we call this the break-even effect. Whatever the reason, if you're desperate to make money fast, you're really putting yourself at risk for making a huge financial mistake. Don't let your feelings of eagerness or your desire to make up for lost time set you up for financial failure. Slow and steady wins the race. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more like it, please subscribe and click the bell so you don't miss anything. I'll see you next time.